Hi everyone, welcome back to Red Dragon TV. Here we are on the eve of the Unibet European Championship, and of course we've got Colin Lloyd with us. Colin, looking forward to some competitive darts, and it's a major this time round. It's ranked, so this will get the players flowing.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I mean, they should have the blood flowing all the time, Phil. You know, it's all about the competition. It's a case of getting one over your opponents, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for the first time we go into a major and it's not clear cut, is it? Like Michael van Gerwen's always been the huge favourite for tournaments, but right now this is anyone's.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, Michael's he's just misfiring at the minute. You know, he's been a well-oiled and well-tuned engine for a good few years, but now he just seems to be a little bit too hit and miss, and that plays into the hands of all the players. And it will certainly play into the hands of a certain Gerwin Price, because Gezzy's playing absolutely superb at the moment. You know, I mean, the last couple of weeks in the European Tour events, he probably hasn't performed the way he wanted to, but he's won a second TV event this year already by winning the World Grand Prix a few weeks back, and so his confidence will be sky high.
Touching on Gerwin Price, isn't it? The half of the draw that he's in, he could play Peter Wright second round. Now, the way that's panned out, will Peter Wright be sat at home thinking, if only I hadn't missed those last two?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Wrighty thinks like that. You know, he's the world champion. He doesn't have to think like that. He's a class act in himself, and he knows if Gerwin's just off his game a little bit, that Peter will step in. Peter will be up for the game. Don't worry about that. He won't be thinking to himself that maybe I shouldn't have made a decision. He's stuck by it, and now he's just got to move on with it.
For the fans, though, that's quite exciting. Arguably the world's best player against the world champion in round number 2.
Well, yeah, of course it is. You know, it's certainly a mouth-watering tie, but you'd like it to be in the later stages of the event. But listen, they're professional dart players. They have to flow with it. You know, Peter's the world champ. He hasn't been able to parade his trophy around the country like he would have loved to, and around the world as being world champ. Still a class performer. I think he's won 2 or 3 Pro Tour events this year also, and got to the latter stage of a couple of events. But Gerwin's just brimming with confidence at the moment. He's won the 2 TV events this year. He's won a handful of Pro Tour events and whatever, and a delightful game for the fans to see, hopefully.
When you are winning titles, does it make you feel invincible?
Yeah. There's the saying, Phil, you know, with confidence comes tournament wins, and with tournament wins comes confidence. They go hand in hand with each other. And there's no better feeling than when you know you're playing well. When you know you're playing well and you walk into that room and you think, I'll have some of this again today. And, you know, the only person that can stop you from feeling like that and getting sort of like results is yourself, because you are brimming with confidence. The darts are flowing with it. And you just feel on top of the world. It feels like you're on tiptoes all the time, you know. You just feel that good and that confident when you address the hockey, and it doesn't matter who you're playing.
One thing that came out of the Euro Tour at the weekend, which fascinated me, that MVG and Gerwin Price were practicing a lot together. Is that a good thing for the pair of them, or is it a bad thing? Because they get to know each other's games inside out and everything like that.
Well, I think Michael said he'll never do it again, didn't he? I think. Listen, I don't know. At the end of the day, you have to play your own game. As long as it doesn't get too fired up. If you get too fired up on the practice board, you're leaving it all on the practice board. You're not taking it on the main board. You know, have a little bit of fun, and, you know, there's that camaraderie with players on tour. But also, you've just got to hold that little bit back. Have that reserve. Don't go full guns a blazing on the practice board, because, like I say, you know, you sometimes go out onto the match board and you'll feel flat. And that happened with Michael, and he said it in the interview afterwards. You know, he said, I won't be doing that again. And I think he realised that he's made a mistake, and he'll put that mistake to right, I think, next time.
Looking at, obviously, our Red Dragon stable, one of the ones that will fancy his chances, and he's in not a bad little quarter of the draw, is the ferret, Johnny Clayton.
You know, Johnny's a class act. You know, he was he was always a fringe player, but now he's probably one of the most dangerous players on tour because he's been getting the results, Phil, for himself. You know, he's playing so well, and the confidence has grown inside him, and he believes he can beat anyone, and he can beat anyone because he is that good.
No, definitely, and obviously with the World Cup coming up as well, this is good prep for him and Gazzy as well, and they'll take confidence out of this.
I think the Welsh team is the team to beat. Personally, I think that's a formidable team. Gazzy's on a massive high at the moment, and Johnny knows he's playing well as well. And you know, they're good pals, good friends, and they can feed off of each other. And that's what's going to make those two extremely dangerous when the World Cup comes around. And I would actually have them in as favourites.
No, I completely agree. Obviously, you've got the two Red Dragon players in that quarter. Whichever one, I'm assuming we both think they win their first round games. Whichever one wins that one, do you expect them to make the semi-final minimum?
You'd like to think so. You know, they're too classy of players not to. But shocks can happen, and that's what the majors are all about.
Looking on the other half of the draw, Jamie Hughes against Chizzy. Jamie, it's a bit of a bag of spanners at the moment, isn't it? We don't know what we're going to get. When he's brilliant, he's brilliant. But on the Euro Tour, hasn't quite happened for him.
No, he's a little bit too hit and miss, Jamie. You know, I sometimes think, Phil, you know, I don't know overly. I don't know Jamie overly that well. But I sometimes think he slows his game down so much, and he tries to be too precise. And sometimes I just don't think he gets a flow going. But like you say, he's still dangerous enough player to cause a shock and an upset. But yeah, he's playing consistently well. He's qualifying for the majors and he's climbing up the rankings, so he's going in the right way. But I just think he needs to sort of have a little look at himself and just address a couple of issues, and hopefully he can push on a little bit further. But a very, very dangerous player to play against in the first round.
100%. Looking at the rest of the draw, is there any standout ones that you really like the look of?
Listen, I think when it comes down to it, Phil, I think it's going to be between the same hustly, bustly players. That's not being disrespectful to anyone else. You know, I mean, our sister company, you know, Windmill, you know, you've got Willie O'Connor's going to be a dangerous first round game. Danny Noppert's thrown some good stuff again. He's you know, qualifying for all the major events at the moment. Merv King's got a nice resurgence of form. You know, Merv's a very, very dangerous opponent because Merv never knows when to give up, you know, and he keeps battling away. And, you know, I sent Merv a well done message the other week, Phil, and, you know, he said it was just nice to go back up onto a dartboard and play the way I know I can play. And so that's nice signs for Mervs. But I think come the end of it all, I think you're going to be fishing around the same sort of contenders. MV possibly be there towards the end. Gerwyn Price, I consider, will be there towards the end. In saying that, like we've just said, he might clash with the current world champ at the minute. I don't think it's going to do Peter any harm missing a couple of events. I certainly don't think that'll upset his form or whatever. But, you know, whoever goes on to win it will have to be playing world-class darts.
George, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you. But before we do go, I want a name from you. As always, we can't let you off.
Do you know what? I'm going to... And it does seem like you're sticking your neck out these days because he hasn't been performing well, but that will be really getting to him now. I'm going to go with MVG. I'm going to go with Mighty Mike. You know, I've got a lot of time for Michael. He's a nice lad. He's a hard-working, grafting player on the dartboard. He's grafted over the years. And that'll be hurting him a little bit at the minute, Phil. Yes, he's getting to finals, but he's getting beat in finals. And there's that little bit of inconsistency, but I think this could be the weekend when Mighty Mike bites back.
Colin, absolute pleasure, and thanks for talking to us here at Red Dragon, mate. And we look forward to seeing you again in the near future, mate. Pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Phil. Cheers, buddy.